Andy Anderson, recording again from the Motorhome Studios. And first off, I would like to wish everybody a happy New Year 2014. This is the first vlog of 2014. And since this is a new year, it is the time that everybody's looking at the past, they're looking at the future, they're looking both ways at the same time, and half the time we don't know which way we're coming or going. So from that, we try to set a New Year's resolution, meaning new goals. Which brings me into something I've written, Dragonize Your Dragon Eyes. I am very excited for this book this year, as I have been preparing this last year to put this into seminars where I get to go out and talk to people. Since I was 15, I've been a coach. I loved gymnastics from the time I was 12. When I turned 16, my mom said, well, if you want to do gymnastics, you pay for it. So at that time, my best plan was to get a job in the gym. So after 6 or 8 months of begging at Barefoot Gymnastics in St. George, Utah, I finally got the job. And from there, I learned the first steps to what I now call my goal process. That's why the very last step of the goal process is become a mentor. My self-esteem increased so much knowing that I'd helped so many other people get through the same things that I was trying to get through. This vlog is dedicated mostly to the goal-setting self-esteem. What I like about my goal process is it's not just a specific goal-oriented process. It is a life-oriented process, meaning you have so many different realms in your life that you need to focus on, work on, practice. Plus, you only have so much time in a day, and you have to get your sleep in, no matter what. You just do. There's been times where I've been so excited to try to get more stuff done that I gave up on my sleep, and I actually was less productive because I was not balancing myself out. And that's where the goal process really helps, because we'll just take a gymnast in high school. They want to be a good gymnast, so they're going to spend as much time as they can in the gym. Of course, you need to be educated and get smarter, so you have to go to school. But then when you're at home, you may have chores or brothers and sisters or other things that you need to take care of, like cleaning your room or whatever it is that you need to do within your family group. And then if you are a church-going person, you may have a youth-oriented activity once or twice a week. You may have scout camps or girl camps or whatever it is that you do to participate with your religious group. And when you only have so much time in a day, and you only have so much energy in a day, and you only have so much money every day, that's where the goal process makes it possible to be happy. The sad thing with when we make a choice, we also create a regret, because we want so many different things at the same time that once we choose one thing, we have told everything else that is not as valuable as the one thing that I chose to do. And that can cause, I wish I could have done that. And that's where the goal process really makes an effect, because it takes into account all these different aspects, and it helps you to prioritize what is more important. What can I do with my time now? This past year, I originally started writing Dragon Veils on a small computer. It was so small, I mean, it's basically an overgrown phone, or cell phone, that didn't have cell service. The keyboard was tiny. I was literally typing like this. And when I would proofread, the screen was so small, it was really difficult to catch all the errors. And then, a couple months ago, I finally upgraded to a real nice computer. It's not the fastest, but hey, it works. It does my job. I've got now a 14-inch screen, and my fingers can actually move on the keyboard, and I've got a numerical pad on the side. So, my priority at that time was to upgrade my technology. And then when I went and proofread Dragons Amongst Men again with a big screen, I was amazed at how horrible the first version was. It wasn't that great. There's spelling errors everywhere that I knew that I would normally catch, because it was a bigger screen than I could. But to get back to my point, I love tangents, and I will get on a tangent about tangents. I feel like when I do get on tangents, and I know I'm going to do this in my seminars too, that's when the real emotion comes out. That's when the real information, something meaningful comes out is on my tangent. And then I try to backtrack and forget where I'm at. I do that all the time, but I love it. Back to my coaching from the Fiero, from the Arduino, everything else. But back to the goal process. I am excited with these seminars because I will get the opportunity to motivate people. The law of energy says you cannot create energy, you cannot destroy it. You can only alter it from one thing to another. But then, as I have been studying all these electronic things for the Fiero, you create transistors, which is basically a set of Tesla coils, which is a rod with a whole bunch of wires wired around. Yeah, this is something Bell and I made as a failed experiment. Back to Thomas Edison. He didn't fail. He just found another way it wouldn't work. So, this is 32 gauge wire. I don't know if you can see it in the camera there, but it's very thin. And the idea of this is when you wrap it around, it increases the magnetism and it increases the resistance as well. But if you have some of these in another rod iron and you have like 50 coils and 10 coils, that would be called a step-down transformer, where it lowers the voltage. Or if you do less coils and more coils, then it's going to increase the voltage, called a step-up transformer. So, you're taking energy from one method to another. You are not creating it, you are not losing it, you are just changing it from one thing to another. And that transfer is what I'm looking for with my seminars. I hope to take my energy and transfer that over to other people. So I have a certain amount of coils myself, I'm a certain amount of Tesla, a certain amount of energy, and everybody else is going to have a different set of windings based on their education, based on their experience, based on their philosophies, what they've been taught, what they grew up with, what they grew up without. And that is what shapes who you are. I'm hoping that I can transfer some of my energy into other people to become more successful, become more productive. Step 6, study, research, learn, prepare. Last week I showed how I did the cardboard dashboard, which has been fun. I've done a little bit more, had a lot more fun in the past week, cutting up cardboard and taping things together. Part of the Fiero project is to take the Arduino, I've talked about that quite a bit, and put that into the car, to help run the car. And this last week, I finally made some progress in the coding. You have to know C++, or is it C++? One of the two, I don't know. And if you are not computer illiterate, it won't make any bit of difference to you. But in order to tell the Arduino what to do when this happens, you have to program it. You have to teach it. But in order for me to teach it, I have to learn how to be a teacher. And so yesterday I finally was able to create my own scripting. I don't know if that's ruining my lens or not, but we'll see. You can see it's going from red, green, blue. Red, green, blue. So that is a multicolored LED. And of course it has 3 LEDs inside one. One is red, green, and blue. That's starting to probably make some funny looking faces with this. But that is a loop program telling which signal to turn on. And it has taken me forever to figure out how to do just that much, because I didn't know a single thing about Arduino when I first came across this microcontroller board. And I've learned that there's also Raspberry Pi, there's I know Raspberry Pi sounds really good, but it's just PI. I was kind of bummed. I would love to program a Raspberry Pi. On the actual Arduino, let's see, I don't know if you'll be able to see the LED, but when I push it down, another little light comes on the board. So it turns red and boom, because I was pushing the button at the time that it needed to be pushed. And the value to that to me with my project is I can run a script and it will continue to run and run and run, just like these little Christmas looking light LEDs. But when I push a button, I can turn on my blinker, and it will stay blinking until I decide to turn it off. Or if I push another button, the other blinker. If I turn them both on, well, then I have hazards. So that is the whole point in this, is that they are going to run my car. And so that is not very exciting to show on the vlog of step 6, all the researching and studying, because I went through many compiler errors, meaning when the program tries to read the code I wrote, it says, you got issues, dude. So it took me forever to figure out how to read even the errors. But I finally got that far, and I know I've got a lot more learning to go, which makes, to me, a much more exciting project. And I use this, the Fiero Project and the books and everything else, to show how I personally implement my own goal process into my life. And again, that is where I'm so excited to go out and share this with everybody. In the next few weeks, I am getting a projector and a screen, and I'm going to start getting out there to share this with people. If you've read Dragons Amongst Men, I love karaoke, so I may add a couple karaoke songs into my my seminar, so I hope that I can improve my singing as well. Here is the result of more work that I have been able to accomplish. A couple weeks ago, I did get published Dragons and Their Species, which is now, of course, on Kindle and on Amazon. But I finally made the video for it. I've probably spent 8 or 10 hours on this video. So here is the minute and a half worth of promotional video for Dragons and Their Species. I hope you enjoy it, and I will conclude the day with that. And as always, I hope you all have another great week.
Additional knowledge for the shaman members of the Dragon Veils series. This is the book referenced from Dragons Amongst Men, which Guy begins to read after he had been rescued from the Montana mountains. He was given this book by Sliverballs while up at his cabin. For those who loved learning about the different types of dragons from the novel, you will love this additional reading, as not all the dragon types were listed in the novel. There is still much more which you can learn. This book is the introduction of dragons to a new shaman member, preparing to be inaugurated into the organization. It contains and details the various types of dragons within the chromatic and metallic families. Each dragon type has a special type of personality and characteristics that make working with them different from one type of dragon to another dragon. Herein details those main differences between them. Learn which types are funny, comical, serious, lawful, or downright snarly, short-tempered brutes. See illustrations of the types of dragons, the bronze, brass, silver, gold, red, green, and others are all represented. As well included is material of how dragon remains are useful for their strength and sometimes magical abilities. To complete the Dragons and Their Species is also detailing the serpents and reptiles, giving a little further knowledge in their being here on Earth. Long live the dragons!